Truth and love, everybody. Chris Del Laura here with Learning Thyself, and I'm here to tell you things I'm learning about myself in confidence that it'll help you along your journey. Okay? Um, Jumping right the fuck into it. This is about um, learning things while in the information age. Um, Many of us are just waking up. Many of us are quite all the way the fuck up there. Excuse me. Many of us are have been awakened, but definitely need a tune-up. You know what I'm saying? I personally have been born with a certain level of enlightenment in Christ consciousness, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's times where I was so frustrated with what I was being taught in school, how they were teaching us, and I couldn't stand any of the educational system at all. You know what I'm saying? I'd say the only part of school that I really liked was bringing my fat ass to the cafeteria. That was it. Okay? Fresh cookies and french fries. Everything else can eat my fucking ass. Alright? On some real shit. Even art class sucked because the teacher was just cantankerous. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about high school. There's some other art classes that I had in like middle school that was actually pretty cool. But all this to say was that I knew the stuff that I was learning was so frustrating, and it had nothing to do with what I was going through at home. It had nothing to do with what I wanted to do in life. It had nothing to do with any of it. It had nothing to do with my fucking soul. It had nothing to do with my people. It didn't teach me my value. Nothing. Okay. So I got so frustrated with learning that I kind of just stopped altogether. On top of that, I had like an issue when it came to reading. When I was super, super, super young, I want to say when I was like 5, 6 years old, I was into the dictionary. You know what I'm saying? Reading that. And, due to some trauma and along with other things in my life, I couldn't get a hold on reading any further. Like, I got stunted somewhere, and it didn't help that the books they would have us learn or read in school. Um, it didn't help that there were stupid books. There were books I wanted nothing to do with, and it made me more angry that we had to read a book over a summer. So we had a long ass dragged out homework. Fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? There's only one book where I did it and completed it, and I was really happy with it. Um, it was called Having Our Say. I want to say by the Sadie sisters. Other than that, give a fuck about no Beowulf. Care about the rest of that shit. So, as chosen ones and as people who are waking up, we are naturally rebellious to these broken systems. And I don't want to say unfortunately because everything happens for a reason, but I had a I was extra rebellious. I didn't go to class all the time. You know what I'm saying? I skipped that bitch. I went to McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? um, from one indoctrinating system to another. But when it came to learning, I mean, like, there's times where when I would go home, I would do my own study, and then I would do my own research on what I really needed to learn, because the teachers were not teaching me what I needed to know. And I allowed over the years my rebelliousness to carry on, and things just weren't clicking with me. You know what I'm saying? I had a difficult time just learning in general, even though I'm a very fast learner. You know what I'm saying? So the one side of me has just always had the hardest time learning, but the way I was taught to learn, that was where my hardship was. Back in the day in Africa and all over the world, because black people have been all over the world, we never learned by sitting down for 8 fucking hours in a row, listening to a teacher who did not give a damn about us for real, and just sit there and study and study and study and study and listen to he or she talk for 8 hours, man, for 8 freaking hours. The way we learned was the teacher would see what you were attuned to. The teacher would see, like, if you were an artist, okay, you're gonna learn by way of art. If you're a musician, you like music, okay, you're gonna learn by way of music. And that's how we learned. And in many places they still do it like that. And of course with other teachings, you know what I'm saying, that may not necessarily be 100% attuned to that, there was still a real respect for the lesson, so much so that we were willing to learn because it was going to be correlated with what we're attuned to anyway. You see what I'm saying? So if you are waking up, or like myself has been born with a certain level of enlightenment, but you want to level up in this information age, it can seem and feel extremely overwhelming. But more than anything, it can seem and feel crazy discouraging. Because I can sit here and say I know quite a bit. And as an ex know-it-all, it hurts for me to not say that I know it all. Egotistically, you know what I'm saying? On a higher level, I'm glad I don't know shit. Because I get to learn so much more, you know? But it does feel discouraging because it's that indoctrinating school system that's still left in the back of my mind. You know what I'm saying? Where if I don't learn a particular lesson in life that I need to learn, or if I feel like I failed at something, you know, all I can think about, or at the time, all I've, have thought about was, that big red letter F circled on my fucking paper. No matter how much work I put into my homework or my lesson plans or whatever it was, or my tests, no matter what, I still failed. And the fucked up thing about getting the test paper back with a giant red letter F on it, all thick and shit, the thick Sharpie marker, is that there was no words of encouragement. There are never any words of encouragement that the teacher will write on your paper. There's times where teachers will do that, but for the most part, teachers won't. They'll do the F, they'll circle all of the 500 students' papers that they're grading. And they don't have the oomph. They don't have it. They believe that they don't have it within them to write any words of encouragement on every single piece of paper. So we're just left with this fucking fail all up in our face, and it's like, damn. Like all you know in your mind is just to do better next time. Whatever that looks like. If you choose to do it. I did not. I didn't care. So it can feel very discouraging, and it's not just about a teacher failing you. For many of us, like, I can't tell you how many times I got my ass whooped because I didn't do my homework, or because I kept failing in this class or that class. And my mom, like, she would try to get me a tutor. She would try to see what was going on. But for the most part, she whooped my ass because after a while I just wasn't going to class. you know, and the teachers would be interrupting my mom at her job. Uh, like 3 times a day, there'd be 3 different teachers calling her. She'd come home pissed as fuck, and that wasn't my intention. But I felt like nobody, these adults that want to try to tell you what to do and run your life, they don't have the best listening skills. You know what I'm saying? But my mom, she always done her best. And all this to say, it's the repercussions of that fail that makes everything else seem so discouraging. You get that F, and then your teacher looks at you like you're a failure because they seem like they give off that energy like, oh man, I'm just sitting here wasting my time on you. I'm just sitting here wasting my time. What are you actually learning? I can be going to the casinos right now. You know what I'm saying? They give off that energy. You keep getting these F's no matter how hard you try. And then you go home and you get more flack. You catch more shit because, it's just nothing but fear. Well, if you don't pass this test, then how you gonna pass your grade, and how you gonna level up, and then how you gonna get a decent job, and it just goes into every part of your fucking life. All this fucking fear when it comes to the way we learn. It's disgusting, to be honest. That's the word that just really hits me. It's the school systems are just fucking gross. And so all the way back to waking up in this day and age. And especially if you are a boomer or a millennial, specifically if you are not born Gen Z, because they're born into this information age. But for many of us that are not only waking up, but are like wiggling our way out of the last bit of that bullshit indoctrinating system before we realize that there's something wrong with this, we seem to be the most overwhelmed. And so what is helping me is simply staying confident. See, we're gonna do this. Number one. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. We have it in our minds that we think we need to know everything else that everybody else knows. We already know it. We're just not 100% conscious or aware of it. It's not at the forefront of our mind yet. But we may be sitting there looking at all these YouTube videos and looking at all these TikTok videos, and people are just batting out, spitting out all this information that's outer worldly, galactic, inner worldly. You got all these terminologies and everything, and it's like many of us, we are so ambitious and we want to know it all, but we can't just dive in to the most complicated shit. You can if you want. You may, dive in deep waters and you may be able to swim. Go test yourself out. But first and foremost, keep it simple. When I say keep it simple, you can buy a book on every subject of the planet. It's not meant for us to open up every single book and learn every single thing at the same exact time. You see what I'm saying? Even when you're on the computer and you're downloading shit, it's gonna take a moment for the shit to fully download. Sometimes it can be just overwhelming and overloading. So keep it simple for yourself. All right. Find something that you really want to learn. So number 2, what is it that you want to learn? Here's how you can find out what it is that's meant for you to learn next. What do you get excited about? For some people, Some people want to learn about aromatherapy. Some people want to learn sound healing. Some people want to learn if the earth is flat or if it's round. Whatever it is, you have to try to learn something that is going to already be in your realm of your excitement, because that's the energy you want when you learn. So when we're in school, we don't have that fucking excitement. 95% of us at school, we do not have that excitement to learn no freaking algebra, to learn Shakespeare, to learn all this other crap. But when you get excited to learn, it's like, oh man, like I'm ready to pump life into this lesson that I'm about to learn. This is gonna be great. You want enthusiasm when you're ready to learn something. So whatever it is that makes you the most enthusiastic, whatever pumps you up the best, that's what you go for. All right, you can meditate on this, go inside yourself, and you're gonna feel a certain way, or you can catch the signs. At one point I kept seeing the word more, Moore. I kept seeing the word more all over the place, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to learn that, and the excitement will come. You know what I'm saying? So don't overwhelm yourself with that. You just find what's meant for you next. All right. Number 3, and this is a huge key. You have to ground yourself in confidence. So I'm watching something on YouTube, and I'm so grateful that I finally came across a source of this specific thing that I'm looking for, because it's not in most libraries, and it's not being taught at school, nothing. So I'm excited, yet I'm watching it, and she's dropping terminology that I ain't never fucking heard of, and I'm like, what? The fuck did you just say? Like, oh, this sounds like I'm not gonna be able to understand it. And that's the thing about these indoctrinating systems, is that they'll drop these terminologies and say it in a way where it has such a pompous energy to it. When you go and you listen to like CNN and all these other shows, and these programs where you're kind of hoping to learn and get some stuff out of it, it seems discouraging, because the terminology is so thick, and the ego behind the energy of its stuck upness is even thicker. You know what I'm saying? These people that teach, they have such a hardcore superiority complex, and so it's like we'll sit there and then we'll just change the channel mad quick, because we're just so discouraged so easily, because it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're literally speaking a whole nother language, and their language is pompous. That is what that language is. So what I'm doing is I'm continuing to battle that part of myself that was so rebellious to the point where I didn't continue my studying like I should have. And I'm battling, well, at least in that way. I've studied in many other ways, just not the way school taught me. But I'm watching this video, and instead of kicking rocks, instead of me getting pissed off or upset about it, I'm changing my mind and saying, you know what? I can learn this. I got this already. This information is already inside of me. All I have to do is bring it to the forefront of my mind consciously, and just to be consciously knowing and aware of it. And in that moment, you may want to sit there and read a book, or watch a video, or listen to a lecture, listen to a podcast, and get this information, right? But your self-doubt will distract you worse than fucking social media. Your self-doubt will have you think of doing anything and everything but staying in the present moment. And so that self-doubt and that confidence is going to clash. They are going to battle, and that is a conscious battle that you will have to have with yourself in order for you to win. Are you worthy enough of this information that is inside of you? Are you worthy enough? Will you choose to recognize your self-worth? And when you say yes, that's when you're drawing out the sword and you're battling. Your confidence is going to battle your self-doubt. Which one will you allow to win so that you can go and get these gems? You ever watch I can't give a straight example right now, but you know what I'm talking about when you watch okay, just take for an example the show Grimm, or any kind of show or movie where opposing sides are fighting for a buried treasure. That is what this is. This is your higher self versus your lower self. This is your self-doubt versus your confidence. You see what I'm saying? This is your true self versus your programmed self. And they are going to have to battle. So this is your movie now. This is your show. Who do you want to win? All right? And once you allow confidence to win, I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna be, you're not gonna receive the, once you ground yourself in confidence, you're not gonna receive the information as slowly as you think you're gonna receive it. Once you ground yourself in confidence, the information that you're meant to know is gonna shoot right through you. And out of the blue, shit is just gonna start to click and make sense for you. It's just gonna make mad sense, and you're gonna sit there surprised and shocked, like, whoa, I did that? I understand that? Now that doesn't mean you stop studying. That means you keep building on it. But your higher self is just gonna show you, like, look, you won that battle. That was a hard fought battle. Congratulations, here's your treasure. Your treasure is your knowledge. Your treasure is your information, your intellect, your wisdom and understanding. That is all you, baby. And I say that with such excitement because I understand what it's like to be put down at school. I understand what it's like to feel discouraged everywhere I go, when everybody becomes attuned to the system that was indoctrinating us to begin with. And you're around all these college prep kids, yada yada yada. Yeah, I'm going to Harvard. Like, if you went to college, good for you. I'm not ragging on you for shit. But it's they no matter the fact that they were speaking English, they still spoke the language of being so pompous and better than everybody else, because I got a degree in this, and you know, I graduated with honors in that, and you know, I can pronounce these words that are, you know, longer than a giraffe neck. You know what I'm saying? They put their value and successes in the wrong places, and they've built off of that. And for a while I was discouraged, because the type of person I am, I appreciate knowledge so much. I appreciate intellect. I appreciate, like for me, I can't be around stupid people. And when I say stupid people, I'm talking about people who choose to stray away from learning more about themselves and will stay in a hamster wheel of ignorance because they will choose to ignore all the shit that's going inside of them and outside of them. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want people to no longer be discouraged by the information age. It's going to trip a lot of people up. It has tripped a lot of people up. But don't allow yourself to be tripped up. If you tripped up, you fall, you scrape your knee, you get the fuck back up. This is your soul. This is your spirit. This is your right. You have the right to your own fucking intellect. You have the right to your own knowledge that sits within inside of you. You have the right to it. You know, for the longest time, the way I was learning, I was meditating. For every time that I didn't read, I would go inside myself and meditate because I knew I had to get information from somewhere. You know, I had to listen to my ancestors from early on. You know, because my ancestors were the teachers. I don't care about a teacher who goes and gets a college degree knowing they wanted to do something else in life. Now, there's plenty of teachers out there that get excited to go and teach, and a lot of times these teachers go in to these school systems because they're still hurt about how school was for them when they were growing up. So then some teachers become bullies, some teachers become obnoxious, some teachers become that class clown, and then they don't really teach the kids anything. These teachers, man, shout out to the ones that really give a shit, but shout out to the ones that drop out and say there's something bigger at play here. The way these kids are learning, this ain't it. You know, so these are the tips and tools that I use for myself, but it's really about having confidence, you know what I'm saying, and working on that self-worth. You have to know that you are worthy of your own shit. If not, then you're gonna fall. And I'll say this as a number 4, and I should have put it in there earlier. Number 4, ask yourself why you're learning what you want to learn. This is for people out there, like there's people out there that will go and learn because that's just like their automatic way of living. This on this planet is school. That's what I wanted to teach me, this planet, this school. I allowed Earth to be my teacher. And I allowed my experiences to teach me. You know? This is where you hit a huge difference between Gen Z and the millennials and anybody before the millennials. And not to say that Gen Z doesn't go through this now, because their parents are also not Gen Z. You see what I'm saying? Ask yourself why you want to learn what you're learning. And the reason why I say this in the separation between the two generations is because Gen Z is just built in. Like they're born activated, most of them. And so when they go to learn shit, it's because they're passionate. Like they are fresh when it comes to being like fresh out of school or fresh going into school. They are fresh into their schooling. So they know they want to learn more, and instead of learning the crap that they have in school, they're like, fuck this, I'm gonna get to the truth right now. Whereas many of us millennials and before that, we were taught to learn these things. We weren't taught that you should learn with a passion, that you should have love for what you're learning, that you should be enthusiastic about learning in general. And many of us go to learn something just so that we can survive. A lot of us have schooled ourselves just so that we can survive. A lot of us have built businesses and everything just to see that everything's being taken over by the internet. And we feel like failures in that big red letter F all over again. A lot of us learned just so that we can feel better than other people, which that superiority complex plays right into survival mode. If we were in thrival mode, we wouldn't try to be topping on anybody else. We would just be. So ask yourself, why do I want to learn this? Because a lot of times, unfortunately, we compare ourselves to other people. There's a level of enviousness and jealousy and wrath and hatred and pointing fingers and so much comparison. Like, you know, there were times where I would compare myself and I wouldn't like go deep into it. You know what I'm saying? I would just get discouraged to see that there is somebody else who seemed to know more than I did about a certain topic, and or just in general. Like, there was times where like I see that they understood more than me in a certain topic, on a certain topic, and then automatically I said to myself, "Oh, they're smarter than me." And I was programmed to think like that, and so I would have to quickly shake myself out of that mentality. Like, yo, stop comparing yourself to other people. Don't forget how incredible you fucking are. You are amazing. And we're not taught that in school either. And unfortunately, we're not taught that at home either. So don't go online and start comparing yourself to other people saying, damn, I wish I knew this. Damn, I wish I knew that. All right. I'm going to just go even further than that. Number 5. Oh, fuck. I had a number 5 and it was right there. Oh, find reliable sources. Find you a reliable source. If there's something that you want to learn specifically, say you found somebody on social media and you're loving the gems that they're dropping, and they're dropping it on a specific topic that you've been looking to learn, stick with that. Stick with it. When I say find a reliable source, don't allow that to be your only source. Get some books. Alright, but don't throw yourself into the pool of social media and find everybody that's talking about this topic, and then you're going to start feeling overwhelmed. Because the thing is, there's still so much ego that we have attached to us. There's still so much fear that when we try to go in to learn something, some part of us is going to be distracted. Alright? So number 5, find you a reliable source. If you like what this person is teaching, follow what they're doing or connect with what they're doing. If they're telling you, hey, go check out a book on this, go check out a book on that, cool, because you know what? There are YouTubers out there. The person that comes up to me, he's like one of the best teachers on YouTube, Brother Yosef. When you go on his shit, you find him at Bro Yosef. If you want to learn certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like he's like this grounded teacher, and he'll tell you, like many other people out there, they'll tell you, you know, what books you should get, yada yada yada. Cool. So you find yourself a reliable source and you learn from that. And if it's in your spirit, then that's when you move on and you level up. But you got to ground yourself in a source first. And last but not least, and it's like I keep forgetting. Oh, last but not least, number 6. Honor what you already know. Now, of course, when you're trying to learn things all over again, go in your mind and erase all the bullshit you were ever taught, start from scratch. But there are things that you know innately that are here for your survival and thrival. So let me just give you an example, right? You know, just as an example, you know that eating certain things are not going to be beneficial for you. Now, it's not because, it's not because other people have taught you that. It's because you learned from experience. See, we can be taught in school and we can be taught by other people that when you eat this sugar, when you eat that sugar, it'll do this and it'll do that, right? And though there may be some truth to it, you're going to have to learn from your own personal experiences. Now, when you learn from your own personal experiences, that's a beauty and a blessing to have experience to begin with. To be able to extract information and answers and continue on with your lessons from experience. So when you learn something from experience, honor that shit. Because we don't go through this shit for the fuck of it. We don't go through struggles and shitty times in life just for us to dismiss it and say, YOLO, or this is all for nothing. Fuck that shit. This is why you're fighting so hard to begin with. So, if you know that eating that certain thing is not going to help you, you have to honor that. That is your truth. It is your truth that when you go and overindulge in a certain thing, it's going to fuck you up. You know that because you have experienced it. So honor your experiences. And when you do that, that's when you honor what you know. You see what I'm saying? You're not going to show the universe that you're worthy of more if you are not honoring what you already consciously have. It's like this. You know, for many of us who had the privilege to have at least one parent or one guardian, and you know, birthday would come up, Christmas would come up, something would come up, and it's like, or maybe they're not even a special occasion, it's just you want something so bad, and your parents or your guardian or whoever will open up that closet full of shit that you have in there, and they'll show you, like, you don't even use this. They'll pull out a surfboard, they'll pull out a keyboard, they'll pull out all kinds of shit that you touched probably 3 times maxed, if at all. And they'll sit there and say, look at all this shit. I done spent mad money on this. This was the latest craze. I almost fought this bitch in the fucking Walmart just to get the last one, just for you to not even touch it. That's what spirit is going to do to you. Your spirit is going to sit there and say, okay, well, what about this? When are you going to start honoring yourself? We're not going to help you out with more information if you purposely are self-sabotaging. But if you're looking for information on how to not self-sabotage, you have to honor the fact that you have to be honest with yourself. Not honor, but you have to be honest with yourself, which is honoring. But you have to be honest with yourself when you do self-sabotage. And you have to make a change with that. And once you make the changes and you build up and you build up, then you go to the next level. Alright? You can't just want to soak in all this information so that you in your mind can become a professor, just so that, you know, people can look up to you and, you know, oh, you're the one, you're the chosen one, you're Neo, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much, the level of superiority that is in learning is so thick, is so disgusting. You know, you got people out there and they feel so entitled because they went to school for 15 fucking years, and to know all this stuff when at the end of the day they don't know how to feel fulfilled. They don't know how to be grateful. They know textbook shit, but they don't know their fucking soul. And on the inside, that is what a lot of us is fighting for, just to get back to who we truly are, because we do know the way that we've been taught growing up is just so backwards and so inside out, and it fucking sucks. All right, so that's all I have for you guys. Please continue to stay tuned. For any of you who watches me and sees what I do, yo, like, comment, share, subscribe. All right, connect with me. You know, I really do appreciate those of you who and I'm saying this in advance, because those of you who be watching my shit and don't say nothing, I already know who you are. Okay? But for those of you who do come across my YouTube page and my TikTok and anything else that I have, and you show me love, thank you. I love you and I love you back. And I'm done. Done talk for 40 minutes, and I know I can talk for much longer, but I'm getting kind of peckish. So, thank you for listening. Peace.